among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. Let rain roll, let rain
Good morning, race fans. Welcome to Today at the Races at Laurel Park. Happy President's Day. I'm Naomi Tucker, joined by our morning line odds maker and handicapper supreme, Keith Fusto. Keith, how are you doing? And you have to tell me, how do people normally celebrate President's Day?
I guess at the races. That's kind of much all I've ever known, right? My whole life, I'm here on President's Day. It's been I don't know how many years straight. So yeah, there's my answer. We celebrate by gambling.
I'm not putting you off of that one. I wish we could have, had a big day here today, but of course we're just happy to be running. The track is sloppy. We'll get to the track conditions in a second. But let's look ahead, because due to the cancellation yesterday and on Saturday, we will now be hosting our big Run Happy Barbara Fritchie Day, as well as the General George, coming up on Saturday. So make the date February the 20th, not February the 13th. We moved this huge card to the Saturday coming up. 6 stakes worth $900,000 in purses. Keith, we did the whole morning show. We were looking forward to this. I still am, and I think we're in for quite the treat on Saturday. But we're here today, and we're very glad to be joining you all, and glad to have you with us. We do have a pick 6 carryover as well coming up in race 4, like always. $3,531 on offer. Good little carryover for us to have some fun with on the day. And of course, if you're going to place your bet, Keith, where are we going? First bet, right?
Go to first bet, absolutely. You know, they've got all the offers, the incentives, so, you're crazy if you're not signing up and taking advantage of the bonuses that First Bet has to offer.
Yeah, promo code 500MJC there. Go to first.com/bet. You can get $10 credit, 500 bonus. Really, really good platform. I've been playing around with it a little bit myself. You can alter it to put in your preferences in terms of what you think is most important. Which horse has got the highest speed figures? Which trainer is hitting the most at present? We're always looking for those angles, and I know, Keith, that you've done very well with them. Let's talk about the track conditions. Let's have a look at the track. It currently is sloppy, as you can see. It's been a rainy day, and they've been working on it all night, I've heard. How, as a handicapper, do we look at this, Keith? Are we looking for horses that handle the track well? Are we looking for class to prevail?
Well, you're looking, a little bit of breeding. You're digging deep. I always look at, a lot of times the bottom side, the mare, and see how she's run, and some of the offspring have run. Some of the stallions are standout off track kind of stallions. So I mean, there's a different, a couple different ways you can look at it. I mean, there's a couple horses today I'm a little bit leery of that I've selected when I looked at the percentages for off track. Not so good. I'm hoping that we can overcome that. So it's really dicey. There's no slam dunk way to go. If I'm going to maybe take a little bit of way the track might play. We saw the last time before we had our little break, it was an outside tinge to this racetrack. We haven't done a whole lot to it. They've worked on it, obviously. Hasn't been a whole lot of training on it. So, there's a couple things the variables that are just kind of out there, and you're like thinking, okay, let me see how things develop. But I really like kind of bottom side when I look at stuff so much as this stallion. Yeah, okay, but I go to the bottom side, go to the mare, go to this offspring, proven. What's really proven there for me.
Well, I'm looking to you to guide us through the card here today, Keith. Let's kick things off with the first race. This is, of course, the start of the early pick 5 sequence. 50 cent minimum bet, industry low, 12% takeout, and the late pick 5 also kicks off later today in race 5, as we'll start here with 3-year-olds claiming 25,000, going 5.5 furlong. And Keith, you landed on the number 1. Passage of Line comes in here for Robbie Bill, same distance, and we do have a video of his last effort where he had plenty left to do in that last furlong.
Yeah, plenty left to do. You see Codes on the front end. You're going to see Codes again. That horse had a little bit of trouble at the break, but quickly went clear. But Passage of Lines, he's got one little hiccup on his page out of 5 races. He's a 2-time winner. He'll settle off the pace, and he strides out nicely here at the end. Finds that seam in between horses. And today, I think there's going to be a contested pace up front. Plenty of speed. You see second best there with San Antone, who we're going to see again today, who might benefit from sitting just off of it. Goes first off the claim. But I like the consistency that this horse brings, the legitimate late run. Now, this is a situation, shorter field. There's some horses that have some speed that can carry it. If all systems go kind of cleanly, I think we're going to have a little battle, though. So I'm just kind of feeling the Passage of Lines. I like the management. Just hold him right here at this level where he's going to be highly competitive. I think he's going to rally right into it. I don't think he's worse than second in here. I think something's got to give up front.
Yeah, I do think the number 5, which is the horse that I use as well, is going to show some speed, but I like the outside draw here for Claudio Gonzalez. And just looking at the way he moves, I look at his last one, he's got that high knee stride, and he's done well over a wet track. He's at 2 seconds there, 63 Bayer, making me think that possibly he's one of the type of horse in here that can get over it a little bit better than the ones that might just get stuck, bogged down in it. But of course, taking a little bit of shot there because he's stepping up to winners for the first time here today, and is possibly going to take a fair bit of money as well.
It's going to take plenty of money with Claudio. The numbers are there. You look at that Bayer, the last out, 62, 63, the last 2, and he's proven that he can handle slop and a fast track. Back to the slop today. But this 2-horse of Trombetta, you don't see Mike claim a whole lot of horses. Interesting what was the wake-up there for this one. But you see that only try on a sloppy sealed surface at Penn. It looks like he had something left in the tank, going but up 80 very, very quick early. And you're talking about off-track breeding. And, there you see Intermission, bottom side, Indy, and Charlie. There's certain stallions there that will certainly jump out at you, and there are a couple right there. There's probably a list of maybe, 10 or 15 when you look just on the top side for Speightstown, Munning. Speightstown is just tremendous. So those are some guys, some stallions you can look at in today's card if you can find a few that definitely give a little bit more onus to on this off track.
Well, it might just pay off to dig a little deeper indeed when it comes to the pedigrees of these runners. The second race is a fillies and mares 4 and 5-year-olds, maidens going a mile and 16, the 2-turn here. Also carries the super high 5-year. We do have a carryover $1,386. Pick the first 5 home in the correct order, and you can get the jackpot here. And Keith, you landed on the number 3 in this spot. Scarlet Song, who I use in second as well, Rob Clasars. She's had plenty of breaks in her career. She only made her debut as a 4-year-old, obviously now a 5-year-old. Interested because to me she was projected to be the main speed here, but looking at her running style, she's never really gone to the front. So wondering how this will set up.
I think she basically inherits the lead. Finally catches a field where she's clearly faster than through the opening quarter of a mile. It certainly looks that way to me if she breaks cleanly. And she ran all right last time. She chased a pretty quick pace, dropped back a little bit on the turn, made another little run past mid-stretch, a slight flattening of 5.5. Now we're stretching out. She's going to have to get out there and hopefully relax a little bit. Breeding, look at this. By Soldat, I've got 2 Soldats on top, right, in the first and second race. You don't see that too often. If this was Florida, I'd see, Florida Stallion, but that's a little odd. I just picked up on that. But no, I think, Artie Schiller, Warfront, you're seeing that. There should be a little bit of distance there, and just go ahead. I think if this mare's able to just relax and get through maybe a half at 48 and some change, maybe she'll just kind of deter the rest of them around that final turn, open up. I'm looking for a bomb, maybe. Ooh, you've got this horse on top.
I'm looking for a bomb here. Well, hold on here.
You.
Seville massively improves on the wet track. 14% winners compared to his normal 10%. Trying to find an angle here for a horse that seems to be working decently.
You're trying to kill my morning line, aren't you? Yeah, you're a morning line killer. That's what you are. No, but I'm telling you, this horse might drop I don't think she'll be any lower than like 12 when it's all. I mean, she was 14-1, nowhere, zero buyer. But I went and watched that race. She actually showed pretty good late life. The last 3/16 of a mile through the gallop out, and you're talking about that breeding there. And I kind of look back a little further. The mare was good long on the turf. Just looking for that kind of horse to kind of maybe just pick up the pieces if my 3 can kind of run away and hide from this field. Good pick. I like it.
Yeah, I looked at the dam side as well and seeing indeed the dam Iron Maggie. She was a third level allowance performer going over a mile and further on the turf, making me think that at least stretching out, you should give this filly a chance in a field that just isn't coming up with any sort of standout horses in my perspective. So wondering if we can get a price home here,
Sure,
Keith.
let's do it.
We both used the 1 as well, but I'm interested in the 5 LA Last Marty, excuse me. I didn't include her in the end. Look back at that last race and just would have liked to have seen her continue a little bit better.
Yeah, I've seen this movie before, horses from here to go up a pen and run in the evenings, and it just don't run at all. Stuff happens, maybe on the van ride, she just maybe wasn't comfortable whatsoever. Her 2-back race, even the 3-back race prior to that little break, it's good enough. Malice in the Palace, she's only 5 behind that one. What'd she do? Beat some of these horses by 14 the other day. So just looking for her to bounce back off of that tri-pen. I'm willing to forgive that one. And she's got a little bit of staying power from what she's shown.
We certainly need that for the mile and 16.
Yep.
Race 3 is 3-year-olds going the flat mile here, claiming 40,000. And this is the spot where both of us land on the horse that's most likely going to take all of the money here. Nobody knew for Claudio Gonzalez. I made him my best bet of the day. Most likely not the most value, but the horse that to me just stands head and shoulders above this field. An interesting move bringing him back to this level.
Yeah, claim for 25, knocked on the door a second and a third, but just against much, much better. It's definitely, held the level at least off the claim, and none of these other horses have really shown that. A barn like this, I'm not terribly concerned about this drop back to 40. They have lots of horses. They can afford to lose this one if they do. I think it's going to be his race to lose on the front end. I mean, maybe Pirates Palace will try to go ahead and send, but this horse looks like he can control it. Stayed around pretty good against a good group of horses last time out. Boss Logic, Shackled Love. So, yeah, he could be 2 to 5 when it's all said and done.
Yeah, and I was just looking at some of the U.S. time from pace figures that was tied to Nobody Knew, and his last final quarter in his last race over that flat mile was still stronger than, for example, a deep closer in here like the number 2 Jack Cave back, making me think that if he's dominating up the front, he still has enough left late to hold them off. So something has to go awry here for him not to get in my books. And I think in terms of the 1 flat mile, as he's done it before, and he stays so well. The 2 Jack gave back, which I just mentioned, gelding by honor code, ran a lifetime best for his new barn last time out, but to me would still have to continue stepping it up if he wants to topple the heavy favorite.
There's no doubt. He looks like he is on the improve. He goes second time Lasix, and he kind of looks like a natural router. I like the way a couple races back he reeled in a loose leader past the 8th pole in Pirates Palace. So yeah, he's getting better. Didn't really have that dual setup. They did go quick last time, so you had a bunch of chasers, but he finished up quite well. And Bill gave him the comment, quote unquote, rallied nicely. My partner up there with Equibase, Bill Braswell, he's a little bit tough. I mean, you got to catch his eye. You've got to be doing something really well. And for him to give such a complimentary, note to this horse, that wakes me up a little bit. And getting Marquez doesn't hurt at all.
I like that information when it comes to those bylines. You told me little things like that before, that if it catches the chart caller's eye, it really means that they did rally late or they did show interest late.
We saw one the other day, right? And a big price, the Ferris Allen. You saw the mild interest, where you were back, beating. We don't want to give away all our secrets, but that was another one on the wake-up call. I had that horse third in my picks. Unfortunately, I didn't go 3 deep in that part of the pick. But hey, that's done. That's done now. So let's look ahead to today.
We're all making notes right here, Keith.
Okay.
Well, let's get going with race 4, maidens 3-year-old, 16 claimers going 7 furlong. Of course, is the start of the Rainbow Pick 6, for which we do have a carryover of $3,531. Fun sequence to play today, but of course also the start of the middle pick 4, for which you created a ticket.
I did. I think there's just a little bit more value here than the early. We'll go with the 1 and 7. And here my top play is the 1A, Magic of Love, Gray Wing, who I think I might have 4th in my selections, but my method to mathematics is that the horse is ready, win or kind of maybe run out. So I'm gonna use that horse in the pick 4. 3 deep in race number 5 with the 279. Big dropper here, the Circle Game. What do you make of her? Race 6, 2 deep. Lacey Gaudet. All right, Lacey. Don't let us down.
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, all right. 3 and 5, and then race 7 we're going to go 1, 3, 4, and 6. That's a very competitive state bred. Other than going 5.5. So I mean, I honestly could hit the all button because Naughty Thoughts on the Wago back. If she's going to escape at a price works. It's a much better field that she's going to tackle today. That 2 other than way too much, but $24 to get you started. And if you want to go all in that last leg, go right ahead.
Yeah, I agree that last leg is wide open, and a horse like Naughty Thoughts, I didn't have her in my top 4 selections, but certainly not out of it completely at all. As you mentioned, has some back class going into it.
Yes.
As for this race, your top selection, the 1A Magic Love, of course, coupled entry with the A comes in here for Jose Corrales. Steps it up in level here, was claimed, the maiden claiming 10, now going for the maiden 16. Blinkers go on, and you do have a stat for him as well.
Yeah, here we go for Corrales. He's been good to me on his stats.
He
Jose,
has been.
Huh? Jose, past 2 years on the dirt, 5 for 19, 26%. This is first off the claim. All right, ROI of 1186, pretty gaudy. A little jump up. I like that off the claim. To me, it looks a little bit like a lateral move, stretching out 5.5 to 7. This horse made kind of 2 sneaky runs at the leader last time, Luxero, and just a little fade to the last 1/8 of a mile. Blinkers go on, a Lasix goes on. Let's hope those 2 things help him get a little improvement. I think it's going to be his race to kind of lose up front. I think he's gone on the front end here today for Jose Corrales, first off the claim. Magic of Love. I guess the corny thing was if it was Valentine's Day, we're a day late, right? So
I know. I'm wearing the Valentine's Day colors because I didn't get the chance to do it yesterday.
There
so happy
you go.
belated Valentine's Day to everyone.
Yes.
Magic of Love.
There's
I
your
use
hunch
him,
play.
yeah, there's your hunch play indeed. I used him underneath, just wondering if he really is going to see out the distance as strongly, because in his 2 past performances, always kind of struggled a little bit as of late. But he is going to be one of the main speeds in this spot. So if he's gone, I think he benefits from the fact that a 2 Prince Amadeus is out, who was also going to show a bit of early speed. So could be his race to dominate on the lead. I use the number 5 Lucian as well, but let's talk about the number 4 first, Gosh, of which we also have a replay of his last efforts, going 6.5 furlong here at Laurel Park, whereby he was able to navigate a good position early. He was taking a fair bit of kickback though.
Yeah, and Lucian is to the outside and makes that wide run. Maybe that was just cost him a little bit too much, but I like the way Gosh returned as a gelding off the layoff and the barn change for Gregory Wilson. Doesn't run a lot of horses, but has done a lot of good work through the years here. It has been a mainstay in this circuit. But I tell you what, the horse finished quite willing. Count the Shells was able to control it up front. 7/8. I think this horse is going to be okay. Off track, you're talking Orientate, Northern Fleet. That works for me as well. So, yeah, I think he can move up a little bit here. Second time gelding, second time for the new barn. Why not?
Yeah, I look back at that replay, and just the way he sort of ran through the ride makes me think that this extra added half a furlong here is just going to suit him perfectly in terms of a pace setup. I used the 5 Lucian on top here. Kind of didn't break too great that day. Came in sharply, lost a few lengths, made an aggressive move, went right around the turn, as you mentioned, and we saw a heavy drive. I think he covered a fair bit of ground, just got beaten into 4th there. And if you look at the stats, Keir McGee, Carol Senior are so strong to get a 36% at present over this last meet here. I mean, anytime that they're teaming up, I'm always trying to take note.
Yep. I mean, they've hit a tremendous percentage year in and year out. They went up at Delaware, went everywhere. Gray Wings, the firster that I threw in. I've got the horse 4th here, but I definitely all or nothing a lot of times for me with these first or so. Gray Wing by Gradar, about 10% with the first-time starters. The mare was good. Well, I got a 5-time winner, stakes placed, a front-end type, going long, hence the 7/8 of a mile. And Lacey, has been okay with firsters going this distance. Now, smaller sample, 1 for 5, but 3 for 5 in the money, going 7 furlongs on the dirt, first time out. And one of the siblings, Glass Ceiling, is 3 for 14, ran pretty well recently, 4th in a pretty good allowance race in New York. So, yeah, I mean, catch kind of a softer field first time out. Wouldn't be a surprise. Would be the 7 Gray Wing.
Yeah, I use the gray wing underneath as well. Lacey Goddard, as you mentioned, can definitely get one running on their first try. And drawn towards the outside, but that bothers me less than drawn on the rail first time out. So certainly preferable on that part. We'll go to a quick commercial and then we'll be right back with the fifth race of the day.
When it comes to getting back in the game, there's only one team to turn to. The team more high school, collegiate, and professional athletes train and recover with. That team is MedStar Sports Medicine. For more than 30 years, MedStar has served as a leader in the diagnosis, treatment, and rehabilitation of orthopedic and sports-related injuries. Ranked among the top programs in the Maryland and Washington regions, we offer rapid access to athletes of all levels. Let the pros who treat the pros treat you. MedStar Sports Medicine.
Welcome back to Today at the Races at Laurel Park. Naomi Tucker, Keith Fusel. Fifth race we're on right now, which is Fillies and Mares 4-year-old and upward, claiming 5,000 going 6 furlong. And of course, kickstarts the late pick 5, 12% industry low takeout, 50-cent minimum bet. Good sequence coming up. I feel like, as you mentioned, there might be a little bit more value hidden here than in the first sequence of the pick 5, the early pick 5. But still, both are very, very good bets to play. And of course, go to firstbet.com to download the official wagering partner app of the Maryland Jockey Club. But the fifth race here, let's start with your top selection in this, Keith. The number 2, I'm So Money. I have her underneath. Dale Capuano, first off the claim for him. Good work for the level. Trainer does very well via the claim. And in her last race, she ran up, she dominated it up front here, and I feel like she's going to get a similar setup here too, drawn towards the inside.
Yeah, her game is to go to the front. She can handle the pressure, as you saw last time. Now, I'm going to have to go maybe a little bit quicker than that 47-1. That was a little bit pedestrian, but we talked about the off-track breeding. There's Speightstown, on the top side by Munnings. Munnings very good with off-track runners. And never won at 6. I think the barn change just puts me over the top. The way this barn's going right now has shown the ability to take a little heat and battle. Just keep battling. Hoping the inside is okay, because I think there's going to be some horses breathing down her neck. But I'll take a shot here, Dale, off the claim. I think the real question mark horse, Naomi, is the 7. What do you do with the circle game?
Yeah, interesting. Dropping back down in class again. And of course, if you look at the byline, I kind of stayed away from her a little bit because I do know that if a horse have bled, that can be a very unpleasant experience for them. And sometimes they don't want to put in the same effort that they did in their past starts because of the experience. So I'm kind of going to take a wait-and-see approach. Class-based, she certainly towers above them here when you're looking at her speed figures and what she's done in the past. But I am going to just see how she comes out of this run. And, of course, Anthony Lynch, I'm sure he'll do a great job with her. And I think if she comes back and win, that is a testament to his training regime. And
this is a situation where they can get away maybe with that line, but also be a confidence factor, too, for her. Maybe not to exert herself as much against this particular group because her 2-back, 3-back races just clearly dominate this group, looking at some other handicapping tools. So yeah, I can't leave her out, of a multi-race game. I just can't do that. Hetty G, a dropper, another one here. Farrier, Barn, a little bit light on wins, but they've been hitting the board. But, year in and year out with these droppers, 24, 25%. And I think she's got the style. She's going to like the setup that she gets in there. There's going to be some speed to set things up for her late run turning back. So, yeah, the 7's just kind of that question mark. But I am not going to leave her out.
Yeah, no, completely understand that. I use Hetty G based on outside draw. I think she's better sprinting, so I like the cutback here and a lot easier company, or a little bit easier company than what she faced at Charlestown before. But as you mentioned, Anthony Ferry currently hasn't had a strong meet as of yet. He's normally a bit more of a high percentage barn compared to the 6% at present. But as you mentioned, they have been running in the money, so certainly been getting them to the race course ready to go. As we'll move on to the 6th race of the day. Of course, also the start of the late pick 4, and I created a ticket for that, $24 to begin with. In race 6, I used the 3 and the 5 on top. Long distance love, Lacey Godet. Fearless Lassie, Lacey Godet. As you mentioned, you have both of them as well. I'm rooting for the same. So let's go, Lacey. And in race 7, I go 4 deep. But as you mentioned, you can go deeper in that field. 5.5, nice allowance race for the fillies here. And I have the number 4 on top in that spot. Combat Queen for Michael Trombetta. She comes back 8 days after her last effort there. It was interesting because that track was graded as muddy, still had a bit of water standing on it. So I do think, of course, we have a sloppy track today, but might be a touch bit similar. But looking at Trombetta on an 8-day turnaround at allowance level, he's only had 3 runners, but 2 of them play. So 67% of them play. So
good angle.
Clearly, something goes right when he does that. So didn't want to exclude her there. And then in race 8, I used the 1, the 3, and the 4. 3, my top pick in that, always Sunshine, the 9-year-old that came back after 540 days and gamely put Stroll Smoking away. Now coming back with that run underneath his belt, to me, it's his race to lose. Still has some strong horses reopposing him, like No More Run, like Stroll Smoking, although he did put Stroll Smoking away last time out quite convincingly in my books. And in race 9, I used the 4 and the 5, Commanding General, the 4 and 5, Garrison's Charge, dropping here for Justin Nixon. Commanding General for Anthony Ferrier. Both horses that are just eligible on their pace figures to dominate that race. As we'll get back to the 6th race here of the day. I'm just quickly putting that back up here. Over the mile, fillies, 3-year-old maiden, 25,000. Your top selection is the number 5 here. I kind of switched those around, but I'm with you on the Lacey Godet bandwagon.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Long Distance Love, your top selection kind of gets the jump on Fearless Lassie. I think maybe that's the target the 5 will possibly need. We've got a stat for Lacey Godet. It's a smaller sample, but the last 3 years on the dirt, 3 for 8, 37%, 5 for 8 in the money. These are maiden second route, 432. That's a really good ROI. And I just like the staying power that this one showed last time. Mosler's Image, trying about a horse, has kind of battled in just a slight fade. So that little extra stamina boost is going to do wonders, I think. I do think the 3 might be a little bit quicker, though, early.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think Long Distance Love is possibly going to try and move forward. They're now stretching out to the mile distance that she has sort of run over before. She started over it before, but unfortunately a bad stumble that day unseated Johan, so she didn't get the chance. But clearly the fact that second time career start, they wanted her over this distance makes me think that at home that's what she's been showing to possibly want. And now going back to it might just do the trick, I think. And her full brother, Curly Fox, he ran a career best when going a mile on the 8th at Tampa, which was 61 buyer on the main, making me think that the bottom side indicates that a bit more distance is going to help. So Long Distance Love, maybe another one with love in the name here that we could use today. But yeah, Lacey Godet, I feel very strong-handed in this spot. Both of us use the 7 as well. Song of Honor, of course, Claudio Gonzalez, drawn towards the outside and is probably going to be coming with a late run.
Yeah, last 2 okay. You know, the buyer 2 back, 43 works. Would have liked to see a little bit more punch. This horse is just kind of got a little bit of a flattening out pattern that's kind of made me kind of put her a little bit underneath. She's going to have to step it up a little bit. You've got some horses stepping up in class a little bit. And Sheriff's Kid, Rockin' Hippie Chick, love the name there with the 1. The 1 ran really big at 54-1 last time. Has tactical speed, held on pretty well with the blinkers last time out, so she wouldn't be a surprise. Annette Eubanks, always tough to leave out of your gimmick. She's such, she's a good ROI trainer year in and year out. I like to jump up there. Really didn't get a fair chance at all in debut.
Yeah, that was my note as well. No trip on debut. Much better second out. Very game late there. I think that the stretch out might just work to her advantage. Okay. Drawn on the inside, so I do think she probably has to show a little bit of speed to hold that rail, or at least navigate a good position. Talking about that rail, how does it seem to play here at Laurel when it is sloppy? Do we kind of want to move off that a little bit?
I think you're going to see the riders staying probably in that 2 and 3 path, I would think. Not to say necessarily that the rail is going to be bad. I've seen in all my years, I've seen horses slide right up the fence on days like this. It's just kind of a tendency and habit that I think everybody thinks, it's going to be bogged down. I don't know. I've seen that theory busted quite a few times. So, but a tendency is these riders like to ride just off of it. In that 2 and 3 path, you'll see them get the lead, and then as they turn for home, a lot of times be guided out a little even further out into that 4 and 5 path. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's just completely dead. No, don't think that.
It'll be interesting to see where they will be placed throughout the day. Race number 7, feature race of the day for restricted fillies and mares, fully rolled and upward, 5.5 furlong distance. And this is an open affair. I'm looking forward to this race. You used the number 3, 9 Martinis in second. I'm mentioning her first. I have her in second as well because of her impressive score last time out, of which we also have a replay.
Yeah, this is a race first off the claim for Kieran, and he hasn't had a ton of success going from the claiming to the allowance ranks, but this mare in particular catches, I think, the right kind of field, a field she's going to be competitive moving into this state-bred allowance ranks, and got away with a little bit of a soft opening quarter and half last time out when just kind of measuring the speed. But I tell you what, when Carol said, let's throw it down and go, boy, she really responded. So a slower early, faster late. There's some speed to target. Some horses I think are a little bit quicker than her early. But I think at 5.5, she can bring a finish coming back off of this 6 furlong race. Really powerful move here from the 3/16 past the 8th. Very good race. Kieran can get on the win right back. Yeah, I definitely fear 9 Martini. She hasn't really kind of jumped into that 70 sphere, right, for the buyers, but I don't know. She's going to get close to it, I think, today.
Yeah, I think you're right that she catches a group where she can actually be competitive despite the big jump in class level. One of my notes was also that I felt like Carol got the best out of her that day. She seemed to want to run for her, and that's something that I see more frequently. Carol's a wonderful rider, and sometimes she just kind of puts horses in the right places and gets them going at the right time. And 9 Martinis just absolutely cruised away. Good training job as well. Combat Queen is both of our top selection, and I mentioned it when I was talking through my late pick 4 sequence. Trombetta on an 8-day turnaround at allowance levels had 3 runners, of which 2 came back to place. 67% of them placed. Clearly he doesn't do it frequently, but when he does, they come back in good order. That day was a muddy track as well. Like I said, there was a little bit of visible water on there, so I wonder how the track is going to maybe upgrade later on today, see how that works out. Perhaps she'll get a similar setup.
Yeah, might. And it looks like they've kind of tried to get her to sit just a little bit further off the pace. She was always up kind of on the lead, closer to the lead in those other races prior. She gets the bug, drops a little bit of weight here. Yeah, I think she's okay. And going back to Trombetta, a little stat to add on is $4.85 ROI, right? $4.85 ROI, third off of this kind of break in the dirt sprints of late. So yeah, that works. But man, this race is really tough. I mean, friend of me, Charlie, ran awfully big off of a long extended break. Paisley Singing came back out of that race. They're on like a mid-70 kind of a buyer. So, and I don't think, looking at breeding, she should love. Some people look at the Tomlinson ratings. 455, 459. I guess that's about as high as you get. I'm neither here nor there. I kind of go with what I know from off the wet track breeding, but certainly I know top and bottom she should thrive on and off track.
Yeah, I was very impressed by her run of that 1 year and 2 months layoff. And she's got the same draw as last time. And last time she set a very strong pace on the rail. I think she's going to try and move forward once again. And it was just such an encouraging race that I thought you could make a complete case for her to be your top selection in this spot. So, yeah, wide open field here. It seems we also used the number 6, Judy Blue Eyes, who's, I feel like her running style, this is interesting. She can be close to the pace. She can be coming completely out of it. I think in terms of Claudio Gonzalez, his whatever he's going to tell his jockey instructions, excuse me, I was having a brain freeze there. You kind of want to look how the day is developing and then kind of make a decision where you want her to be placed. Now she is going back to this sprinting distance, but she's done quite well over it. She
has, and she's perfect on and off track, and she does not nearly have the early speed. I mean, I think the speed is going to be who was the horse? Let me look at on my papers. Was the horse from the inside? The Parks.
Always talking to number 2.
You got it. Yeah, it's going to be. Thank you. It's going to be the speed. But no, Jock's going to be able to just sit back. She's probably going to fall 5, 6, 7 lengths out of it, I would think, early on in the turn. But you've got some riders that like to be aggressive up front. She'll be able to circle. Expect that circling move from her and to rally into it. But once again, is she really kind of an allowance type? Maybe not so. She likes to win. She's got a lot of wins, but just like Kieran's horse, this is the right kind of field. Just because the label's an allowance, this is the right spot for her today.
And how about Naughty Thoughts? You mentioned her earlier. She is the winner of the 2020 Wide Country Stakes. But in her last 2 efforts, she's been sporadically campaigned. There's been a couple of breaks in between, and she just hasn't been able to get back to the level she showed in her prior starts.
Yeah, I mean, this is one that got real good. Didn't start off her career running terribly fast, got real good, and now it's just those last 2. I see those buyers. I'm like, man, where is she right now? I guess the thought that they still keep her in an allowance race, right? Keep her protected is a positive. Obviously, she's got that that black type under, I guess, in her belt. But so, yeah, maybe that's the dealing. But man, she's got to run faster. She's got to step it up.
Yeah, no, it's interesting to see how she'll come out of it. And otherwise, I would say keep her on for breeding. I mean,
that's what I think. Yeah,
looking at the bottom side, down by AP Indy, she's a stakes winner.
Sure.
If she doesn't come back to the level, that's probably what I would do, because she's done well in the past.
Yep, I would assume that's the plan.
That's what my plan would be. As we'll move on to the 8th race of the day here, fully rolls and upwards, 3 other than optional claiming event going, 6 furlongs. And we also have a replay here of Always Sunshine, the number 3, who I just mentioned. What a tough 9-year-old gelding who came back after a 540-day layoff to take over Stroll Smoking so comfortably in the stretch. But you can just see him out there not getting away straightforward either.
Yeah, bobbles a little bit out to the out to the right, and just recovers. And what a job, Ned Allard. Horse has been around for a long time, done just phenomenal work, and teamed up with some of these owners, and just has done it year in and year out. It's good to see that. He's just been a mainstay, good guy. And Always Sunshine just took the measure, just like an old crafty vet. Said, I'm not worried about this. He goes up, he prompts the pace. And Carroll really didn't have to get into him that terribly much, just kind of shook him up around the top of the stretch, and he just ground down the speed of Stroll Smoking. He gets an extra 16th of a mile today, shorter field. I want to see him break a little bit better. You don't want him in this position to kind of break a little bit and to somehow gets pinched back or anything like that. That would be a little different story than what he had to do last time. He was clear to get up into contention. But, yeah, look at the record, 4 for 4. You got to go back, but 4 for 4 on a wet track as well. So I'm not terribly concerned about this guy, quote-unquote, bouncing off of that return.
Yeah, I'm not either.
Yeah.
I think it might have even just moved it on a little bit. Although it seems like the type of horse that doesn't need too much work going into him to become fit, because I remember we were discussing him off that long layoff, and he kind of had a bit of a sporadic work tap, and we were wondering how fit was he going to be. But clearly fit enough to run an 88 buyer. And as you mentioned, that wet track record is quite strong, so I just think he's gonna move forward from this, and I'm looking forward to seeing him back. I remember that day I actually went out to watch it on the front side, and I stood there smiling, thinking the old boy just put them all away.
If you can't root for a horse like this, go home. I mean, that's kind of the deal. I mean, he just awesome, what the whole team has been able to do with him to keep him going at 9.
Yeah,
good stuff.
Couldn't agree more. And then you use the number 4, No More Run. I have him in 3rd. I think he's going to be the horse kind of lurking behind Always Sunshine, Stroll Smoking, making that move late and trying to gun them down.
Back to 6 furlongs. And last time, he gave a valiant effort. In the loop, was able to kind of control for the most part up front, and he just didn't really have any help. I was surprised. He just kept coming. And he's gotten the better of Stroll Smoking in the past. I think that extra 16th and maybe a little bit more contentious of a pace is gonna help him here. He just fires every time here for Farrier.
Yeah, the only wonder I have is, does the sloppy ground kind of blunt his late speed a little bit? That kind of the ability to quicken on fast ground seems to be easier when the track's a little bit faster. Hence, I use the number 1, Stroll Smoking, just to see if he dominates it again up the front. He's done well on the wet track before. He's won over at 81 buyer. I mean, I think the number 3, Always Sunshine, is the horse to beat in this spot. But Stroll Smoking, in terms of his running style, and if the track stays similar to what it is now, that might carry him further than maybe a horse that comes with a late close. So that's just why I gave those two the position that we have them in. And then you use a 6, Tybalt underneath as well, another closing style horse that comes in here for Claudio Gonzalez. My drawback with him was that last time over the mile he got a good pace set up, and he was still not able to catch in any of the horses in front. So that made me kind of go, he's good. Does the drop back to the sprinting distance make the biggest of difference for him? Possibly, because there will be another good speed in front of him, but maybe could have been stronger that day. Was strong late 2 starts back though.
Yeah, it's a little reach to get him over the top, no doubt. Maybe your superfecta or try players maybe to help boost it a little bit to rally into it if some of the speed does come back. But yeah, I mean, I think all the eyes are going to be on Always Sunshine. Take nothing away from Stroll, Smoking, No More Ron, and some of the others in here. Good group, I tell you. But yeah, the Always Sunshine, I think he's going to get it done again.
Yeah, I think so as well. We'll see how it shapes out. Race number 9, Claimers 16,000 going 5.5 furlong. Last race of the day here on President's Day at Laurel Park. Both of us go towards the number 4 here. Commanding General steps it up for Anthony Ferrier. 16-day turnaround. He went very wide, on that home turn. Perhaps he can just get a bit of a more ground saving trip today, but I liked what I saw there late. He just missed out.
Yeah, call it wide, hindered the run. We're going to go to Toledo and a little jump up off the claim, which is positive to me. And Ferrier's live with some runners today. I just, a little default. Garrison's Charge scares me, off the break. I'm not, too enthused about that. All Nixon does, he's very patient, though. No doubt he does well with horses like this, but I think he might get a little bit better price with Commanding General. I think he can lay a little bit closer to in this particular race. So I think he's going to be, instead of 5 and 6 out of it, I think he's going to be right up there once they turn for home and maybe just kind of out-finish this group at the 5.5.
Yeah, use Garrison Charge, who you mentioned in second, who's definitely going to take the majority of play here. A competitive placement for him getting back to the sprinting distance. Just a touch bit worried about the breaks in his career, just wondering how he's doing and how he's coming into this. Now, when he came off a very long 426-day layoff in 2018 and now had a similar-ish layoff, 338 days, but just a lot of long breaks. So I'm going to try and beat him here as well. Okay. You used a 6 more Trill. Katie Voss here in second, though.
Yeah, 2 good tries. I thought the numbers work. I mean, the efforts on and off track. 2-back try was very good. Had something left in the tank. And out of the race, keys up with Commissioner Biggs out there in the free and clear. I think this horse brings another run, against this particular field. I think this horse works. So, yeah, kind of a wide open nightcap and nothing to really like. But Ferrier off the claim. He's got some live horses today. I think this horse stays close enough to get it done.
And that wraps it for us this morning. The races will commence at 12:25. I'll be back later on, and you'll be upstairs, Keith. Yep. And good luck with all your selections.
I appreciate it. Thank you, and good luck.